Alright, so quick disclaimer for this video. I'm only using gameplay from the first two missions of the campaign, and a little bit of the hub world. Also, you'll see some secrets, but I will not show you the way to get to the secrets, you'll just probably see me grabbing them. So, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil the opening cutscene or any big story arc moments. This is strictly my first impression about the first two missions of the game. So we'll talk about sound and music and gameplay and parkour and some of the elements that were added. But if you don't want to see anything, you want to go in completely blind, don't watch any videos about Doom Eternal. What the hell are you doing here? Enjoy. God, that took like 7 takes. There's no reason for that. Ever since I saw the first trailer for Doom Eternal, I have been looking forward to hitting that beautiful little purchase button on my Xbox. Doom 2016 is one of my all-time favorite shooters, but it just fell short in a couple of areas for me personally. We talked about those in a previous video, which I will try to link at the end of this one, so go ahead and watch that if you want to hear what I thought about Doom 2016. It's a very concise, short video, but yet a lot of people misunderstood it. In fact, telling me that if I don't like Doom, I shouldn't play it, despite me saying that I loved the game, I just didn't like certain aspects of it. I don't know, the internet's a cesspool. Either way, this video is not an in-depth review because I have not beaten the game yet. The game's been out for several hours, and I've been able to get through the first two missions. But like I promised you guys on a live stream a while ago, I would do a first impressions video after my first couple of missions. So first couple of missions out of the way, what are my first impressions of Doom Eternal? First thing we have to talk about is the presentation. People that play video games would like you to think that looks aren't everything, and for the most part they're correct, but I've just never played a video game without graphics, and this one really has a whole bunch of them. It just looks really good. And in the first two missions, it fixed one of my issues I had with Doom 2016, which are sort of samey looking areas. Doom 2016 was like the same 3 types of areas over and over again for the most part, and Doom Eternal has already given me a lot of visual variety and just intrigue. I really like the locations I've been in so far. I never thought that in a Doom game, just being in a certain spot was going to be cool enough, but honestly, just being located in a certain area on a certain mission is like, wow, this is kind of breathtaking. And it just works really well. And then of course, when it comes to sound, I have a couple of mixed feelings. So the audio quality is really nice. They did so many little sounds. I feel bad for anybody that doesn't have really good headphones because in the mess of gunshots and demons screaming and music, you might not notice all of the little sounds, but there are little popping sounds when you get headshots or certain crackling sounds when you're doing an execution that really show that the developers put a lot of thought into the sounds and noises. There's a lot of great audio feedback that I think everyone should be able to enjoy, but I was surprised that this game sort of shows off a good pair of headphones, and it does, so cool, good, points to you, id Software. But here's where I'm gonna get flamed in the comment section. This might be the most controversial hot take in the video, so let's get it out of the way. So far, I don't like the music as much. Now, this could be for 2 reasons, and I want to talk about both of them. First things first, the wow factor is not going to be as strong as it was in 2016. The Doom experience that came out in 2016 was, for lack of a better term, groundbreaking, and it just worked incredibly well. But we've seen it now, I've beat that game multiple times, I've done missions over and over again, I kinda get the awesome music over really fun gameplay, I get it. And so maybe I'm just a little bit numb to that now, but when it comes down to it, just the music itself. I do listen to a lot of different music, and there hasn't been a track yet that's played where I'm like, oh hell yeah. The main menu music has actually, so far, been my favorite track in the game, but of course, they're probably saving some more rocking tunes for later, and this is sort of an irrelevant opinion because music is subjective, but to me, it just doesn't have that same punch, that same wow factor that hit me in 2016. I don't know if it's just because they can't recapture lightning in a bottle, I can't experience that for the first time twice, so maybe it's just that, but also just the music itself, listened to by itself, isn't that amazing to me, but I don't know. I've listened to the Doom 2016 soundtrack so much, and this is either sort of generically samey to that, or I don't know, it just doesn't pop out to me. But again, this is a first impression. Obviously, I haven't listened to every track in this game. I just, just a first impression, get off my back. Creating these sort of like first impressions videos, it makes me so freaking defensive. God, we're almost 4 minutes in and I haven't talked about the main thing everyone bought this game for, the game itself! So I'm playing this game on ultra violence difficulty. I don't really do really hard difficulties in games unless I've beat them before, and normally I'd just start on normal difficulty because easy's too easy and hard can sometimes get frustrating, but I thought, you know what, for this game, I'm gonna go in on Ultra Violence. And let me tell you, this game is pretty hard. I even died in this very first part of the game because I was just expecting to one-punch these demons, but instead, they almost killed me and I didn't know what to do for a second, and then I realized I actually had to wail on them a little bit more. And suddenly I realized I might not be very good at video games. But then, as I kept playing, I realized that, okay, no, this game is just sort of hard. It's very overwhelming in the style of difficulty that it is. It's not just all about timing, obviously that's a part of it, but mostly it's dealing with a complex situation, and really, it is a combat puzzle, similar to Doom 2016, but with a lot more intricacy. While you're playing, you're going to have to keep in your head where each demon is, what their weaknesses are, where your health and armor is at, where the armor and health pickups are, where the portals are, where the lift pads are. Then the goal is to not get trapped or cornered or pinned or overwhelmed. You're supposed to sort of alleviate pressure at all times, always keep moving, always keep dealing damage, and this is a very overwhelming process, guys. There is a lot to learn in this game, and I'm just scratching the surface of it. If you want to be proficient and not play on a baby difficulty, this is really going to be mentally tasking, and in fact, my arm was locked up after this. Now maybe I'm just a baby, or maybe I just played too many video games today, but my hand was cramped up and my fingers were shaking after certain engagements with a certain amount of demons, because obviously I just didn't want to die, and so I'm evading, I'm trying not to get hit, and it's very stressful, it's very overwhelming, and keeping track of everybody's weaknesses and all of your abilities is kind of difficult, and honestly it reminds me of doing harder level things in a game like Warframe. Lots of enemies, lots of abilities, lots of weaknesses and strengths, and you have to keep all of that in your mind at once. So on the one hand, I don't blame you if you choose an easier difficulty, but on the other hand, an easier difficulty will sort of remove one of the big parts of the game, which is dealing with complex, difficult combat puzzles that test your nerves, your tenacity, your speed, and your understanding of the game. Yeah, it'd be fun to go on a really easy difficulty and just plow through a mission and feel like a badass, but it's not really feeling like a badass, it's looking like a badass. You feel like a badass when you narrowly escape death 6 times in one engagement because you keep forgetting what to do and you're juggling everything in your head and you're trying to breathe and stay calm. And honestly, in the first part of the game, I raged a little bit, but then I realized I hadn't eaten in like 7 hours, so I got a cheeseburger and I ate it and I was okay. So just proves my point that food solves every problem in my life, except my weight. My goal is to just be not too big for a coffin when I eventually drop dead from all the fast food that I eat. But either way, the game is sort of stressful, and in the beginning, it really gives you this vibe of the developers sort of bullying you with the level design and the enemy placements, because you don't have a lot of items yet, you don't have a lot of tools at your disposal. So in a harder difficulty, it's very stressful, not just not dying, you just end up tanking damage and running away, and I don't know, maybe a better player just plowed right through this segment on Ultra Violence, but I sort of failed a little bit. Maybe it was because I was hungry, maybe it was because I was fatigued from hours and hours of Call of Duty. Oh look, there I am. But it feels like the game withholds from you so that later, when you get better things, it matters more. When you get better weapons and equipment, suddenly the game isn't as much of a challenge, though the challenge, of course, moves up with the number of things you get. You don't feel as overwhelmed by the enemies as than you do by the possibilities, which is kind of cool. A lot of video games do this where it sort of slaps you around in the beginning and then you really start to value your upgrades and your progression more because you were getting your ass kicked, and that's a great feeling, and this game nails it, so cool. At least so far. Maybe it gets worse. Who knows? It's a first impressions video! I have made first impression videos before where somebody will be like, oh, well, why don't you beat the game first? I'm like, well, that wouldn't be a first impression then. If I beat the whole fucking game, you fucking idiot. So this game has a little bit more parkour and a little bit more story, and what do I think of it so far in the first 2 missions? It's pretty damn good. I really hope the parkour doesn't overtake the game entirely, but it adds for some nice diverse gameplay, a little bit more challenge in a different area, and it's nice. I think it's a welcome change to the Doom formula to add parkour. Swinging on bars, climbing up walls is a very fun thing to do. I've heard complaints about it, and I hope that's not because it gets way more focused on later on, because anyone that's played Kingdom Hearts 1 knows that a game can be sort of stained by too much platforming, but either way. But when it comes to the story, so far, the cutscenes have been cool, and I like them. Again, the game is very pretty, the sound design is very nice, but I haven't been like, whoa, with any of the cutscenes. I've heard some people say that the opening cutscene is the best cutscene in gaming or whatever, and I don't know. I don't think it's that amazing. It's okay, but again, it's Doom. I don't know why I wouldn't expect a badass intro. Of course it's badass, but it's not anything really to look at. I'm not showing it here because it should be something that you see on your own and make your own opinion about, but I don't even know why I'm hiding it from you. It's not that interesting, but it is, yeah, it's cool. It's a nice setup. It's just, I don't know why people are making a bigger deal out of it than I think it is. Whatever, opinions, I guess. I don't want to talk too much about story because I haven't beaten the game yet. I haven't played all the way through the game, so the story is sort of up in the air right now, isn't it? And it could go either way. I don't really want to say this sucks and then later be like, hey, it doesn't suck, or vice versa. So we're getting past 10 minutes here, so let's sort of wrap up with some odd thoughts here and there. Exploration is great in this game, but the levels still feel just as linear as the previous game. I don't know, some people said that the areas are bigger and crazier, and while, yeah, some of the battle areas are more dynamic, or I guess there's more variance in between the locations, but the area and arena size feels very similar to Doom 2016, and if you're looking for a massive leap in new gameplay, I really wouldn't, hold your breath. I don't want to say that because it's really fun, it's really cool, but I don't know. It's better, but I was trying to look for a way into a secret area, and I thought I was being clever, and then I just sort of clipped through a thing, and then I realized, oh, the game has one path to get to there, and I just need to find that one path, and while that can still be satisfying, it doesn't feel that much of an evolution, I should say, over Doom 2016. So take that as you will, that's just my opinion. We'll see how it changes over time, but last thing here, the hub world area is a great choice for this game. I love the hub world. I love that I can look around and see all the things that I can unlock, but I can't unlock them yet, and it really makes me want to hop back in and keep playing. But it showcases your collectibles and the things you found. You find costumes and you get music tracks you can listen to, and it's very cool. It's great. If you're a Doom fan, I will say this game is absolutely for you. If you're an FPS fan, this game is absolutely for you. But if Doom 2016 sort of made you go, meh, I can't see this game completely changing your mind. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's good if you're a fan of Doom 2016, this game didn't really leave the formula behind in the dust, but it also doesn't feel like a massive evolution. And this isn't a sour note by any means, it's a critical one, but it's not a sour note. I don't see the people that are saying it's another genre-defining game. I do not think this is another genre-defining game. So far, I think it's a better game than Doom 2016. I think it's a more complete feeling game than Doom 2016. I like the more RPG elements that are in the game. I like the hub world. I have lots of things to talk about with this game. I don't want this video to go on forever, but the hype around the game sort of has me concerned that Doom is just gonna ride on hype until it makes a bad decision in a future title or DLC. Because from what I can see here, this is not a genre-defining game. It's a really fucking good Doom game. And there's nothing wrong with that, let's just not pretend it's reinventing the wheel. I hold the same opinion about Modern Warfare's Battle Royale. I've heard people saying that it puts other Battle Royales to shame when I'm thinking, no, it's just a different type of Battle Royale. Like, what the fuck are you stupid? But either way, that's my initial impressions of Doom Eternal. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and share. If you're already clicking away right now, I don't blame you, but I do have a merch store in the description below. It really helps out a channel my size when people buy things from a merch store, because I don't consistently get lots of views, and it's great that I can do this, but in order for me to keep doing it, it has to be lucrative, which means I'm gonna start clickbaiting. I'm gonna start putting big titties in my thumbnails. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Oh, big titties.